All right, so questions.
Okay.
All right, it's a hot mess every time we do this. There's a reason why we don't do this very often, I suppose. Okay, turn the volume down. Huh? Well, it's,
No questions.
turn it all the way down. I thought we would do this and kind of talk about just what's coming up, maybe over the summer for sure, and just the big projects to come, and maybe answer some questions if there are any. But I don't like doing this. I apologize. The live version is obviously never as good as the edited version, but I was recently asked about kind of what the future of Red Poppy Ranch looks like, and there seems to be a concern that once we finish the house that there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about or to make videos about. And the truth is, I think that everything's kind of going to start once we move up there. I think that's, the idea that that's the first day of the rest of our life, I think is really what we're looking forward to. Getting the shop built so I can have projects or have the ability to work on projects inside is probably the next big hurdle. But then from that point on, we've got literally dozens of things that we'll do as we try to, both raise livestock, garden, things like this. Just try to make the best of what we have to work with up there. And some of this we may not even get to until next summer. But the things that are most important to us now, for sure, is just getting up there and living up there and starting to figure out, just in fact, how well the solar system's going to work, how well the all of these things, all of these challenges that we're just going to have. So we're looking forward to things drying out. I guess that's probably what I'm looking forward to more than anything. Is I'm ready for the snow to go away. I woke up this morning to another snowstorm, but it's supposed to be 57 degrees tomorrow. So it's just kind of during that time when winter's trying to hang on, but there's really not much left of it. I'm glad I'm working inside, to say the least, but I'm ready to. This is just going to be a challenge every year. This time every year, the mud's going to be a challenge, and I worry about that with Cedar and the kids as they have to travel up and down that road, but we'll figure it out. I spent probably an hour today looking at dump trucks, looking at what a good dump truck is going to cost me, and we're just going to figure it out. The alternative of not living up there, we're not willing to consider that. So whatever it requires for us to live up there, we'll figure it out. So. I want to say thank you guys. Thank you guys, especially you guys that have followed us since day one. Part of this whole thing is a little bit hard to wrap my head around, but at the same time, it's rewarding for me. It's rewarding to think that there's somebody out there that appreciates what we're doing. We never intended this to be what it's turned into, I guess. But at the same time, we're just grateful for the platform that we have to share our story, I guess. I think, we've considered making a video about this for a while, how we found our land, but we just haven't done it. And we've talked about this before as well. But, I think probably on the last time we did a live podcast, which was a long time ago, we talked about how in the process that we go through when we do something, and it started with moving to where we lived, how we didn't buy anything for a year. Once we moved here, we wanted to make sure we were in the right place. That gave us some time to just to get to know the area. And so then after and by the way, I spent quite a bit of time looking on the internet before we moved here to try and find some land, but that land was never on my radar. That land was just never on my radar. I recognized the beauty and the you know, just flat how pretty it is up there. But as far as trying to carve out what I thought our life looked like, I didn't see it up there. I really didn't. And some of you guys that know our story, we probably wouldn't have bought it had we not had a little bit of pressure from family, you know, our neighbors up there. And once we bought it, it was a work. It's still a work in progress, but it took some time to see the potential. But we found the land. Initially, we found it on the internet. It was not on one of the major sites. But then after we got living up here, we drove around and we found a for sale by owner sign. And so we didn't go through a you know, a broker or anybody to find the land. So there's easier places to do what we're doing, to live completely off grid. You know, if I was going to pick a place that didn't require permits, didn't require all the stuff that we've gone through to figure this out, it wouldn't be here. But we believe that the upside is so much better that the struggle is worth it. So we love it. I love it so much up there that if I had the opportunity to buy more land up there, I probably would after we pay off the last little bit we owe on our land. But anyhow, I always like the idea of boots on the ground, looking at stuff versus just using the internet. So.
And we can't wait to see the tournament.
So I normally do a video Wednesdays, put a video up Wednesday night and Saturday night. I was about to put a video up last night, and I decided that I'm not going to put that video up until this coming Wednesday to give me a little bit of a buffer. You guys are basically real time with us as we're working through it right now, and that's stressful. That's pressure, a lot of pressure. Most videos, not even counting the time that I spend moving cameras around, and I'm crying about a tremendous blessing here, but the truth is it's hard. It takes probably 30% more time to set a camera up to try and film stuff. But that's not even the battle. The battle is editing and trying to put a video together. I would guess I have probably 3 to 4 hours tied up in every video that I put up at least. And so by the time it's up, you know, sometimes I'm up till midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And so so you guys are, when I load a video on Wednesday night or on a Saturday night, you're seeing what happened Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you're basically real time with this. So what we've decided to do is we're not going to put the next video up until this coming Wednesday. And what that kind of does to me is it relieves that pressure a little bit, gives me a little bit more of a buffer to get videos up. So the next video you guys are going to see is going to be about me getting the Roxel insulation in. We had a crazy snowstorm come in. I was at dinner with my oldest daughter, Sage. We went down about 30 miles down south to go to her favorite little sushi restaurant she likes to go to. And I looked at my phone and I saw that there was a snowstorm coming in that night, and that ended up leading to me getting 34 sheets of drywall, and I had to get them up there that night. So anyway, it was a interesting few days, but yeah, the kids for sure. The family's going to be involved. Are my kids going to help paint? I'm so ready to be done with this part of our life that once we get to paint, I'm probably gonna. I hate painting, but I also hate drywall. We're so close to the end now that I'm probably going to grind through it as fast as I can and let the kids be more involved with their individual rooms. Once we're living up there, there'll be a lot more opportunities for the kids to help on other projects, lots of other projects. Me and my son, Rhett, talk about all the things that he has planned this summer. And once we're there and it's not, I don't have to worry about things as far as, having the house finished and all that. I think that's going to open the door to tons more projects. I don't know. It's always been like, I don't even know how to do it. How to put it up on the side. They can't see the comments? No, it does this every time. I hate doing this. Sorry. you guys. I appreciate that so many of you are willing to do this and you know, spend your time with us on a Sunday evening. But it's like I said, it's a hot mess every time that we do this. And my health is the usual. That's all I'm going to say about it. We are, you know, I'm trying to really change some of my diet stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, hi everybody.
Let's see her do this.
I'm reading all the comments for Heath so then he can answer them for you. How about that? We don't know what we're doing. They want to know where your button-up shirt is.
Which button-up shirt?
He's wearing a t-shirt. On Sundays,
yeah,
he wears
I
t-shirts.
never wear t-shirts.
He has more clothes than button-ups, that's for sure. Hi, Debbie.
Anyway, probably the next 2 or 3 big projects that I really can't wait to sink my hands into, and we're gonna mill all of our own timber for the barn, for the shop, and finish that shop. Once the shop is done, for the most part, we're gonna build a little cabin. That our property's kind of shaped like a piece of pizza, and we own almost three quarters of a mile back, so it's 4,400 feet back. And really, the most interesting part of our property is not down low where the house is; it's back in the back. And one of the things that we will finish this summer is one side of our property has been surveyed, the other side has not. So we're going to pay to have that surveyed this summer. We're going to have lots of friends and family up this summer to help with fencing, different things like that.
Well, we wanted our house to be back further originally in the beginning, but why did we go so close? We hate that it's close because we don't want to be seen from the road, and we did want it up further, but it was flatter, and it was just, I don't know.
Yeah, initially, actually, in some of the very early videos, there's a video where I'm using a bulldozer. Oh, it's like over 2.5 years ago, to clear the land, and we wanted to put the house about another 150 feet further up the hill than where it is now. And actually, that's basically where the old excavator is sitting right now. And the truth is, I don't know if we'd be able to get up there. With what are you doing? I don't know if we put the house where it's at, because I felt like it was going to be the easiest to get access to. There's only about 8 different landowners up there. We all have at least 40 acres. Most of the people that own land up there are doing nothing with it. There's a couple of people that have tried to do something with it, and most of the winter, these people can't get to their property, and so we
can't either sometimes. It's a little rough.
Every day. There's not one day this year that I haven't been able to get back in there, and so
I haven't attempted it yet because I'm kind of a wimp, and I just hit a deer with my car, so it was out of commission for a while.
Yeah, I drove your car up there though.
I know, but I haven't. Like
yeah.
I need to attempt it.
We put the house where it's at. I'm happy where it's at. It's 250 feet off the road. Not even that, 200 feet off the road. But that road's never going to be a highly traveled road, and I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, by us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But anyway.
How the fruit trees. Everybody wants to know how the fruit trees
survived.
survived.
The fruit trees would have been fine. But over the last summer, when I was just working every day, somewhere in the middle of that, they didn't get watered consistently, and they still probably would have been fine. But somewhere in the middle of that, we kind of bailed on them. And the thing that made me nervous about them is it could be as much as 10 years on those when you're using cuttings with apple, and most of the time these trees are grafted into something for a good reason, so you know that they're going to produce. And there's a good chance that a lot of those trees would not have produced, I guess. And so I'm going to try it again this year. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go buy probably a dozen apple trees from a local nursery and plant those. These trees that I'm going to plant are about 5-year-old trees. And that starting stuff from a cutting is a bit of a gamble, and I'm not opposed to it, but it's taken us so long to get to this point that I'm ready to start living. I'm ready to, as much as I love the projects, and I love the challenges, and I love all of these things that come with living up there. I'm ready to live. We're ready to start living up there. Reed, you want to come say hi?
When do you hope to move in by?
Yesterday. That's my token answer.
Hi, Reed.
You say hi, buddy. You put the phone down for 2 seconds. Yeah, we're all ready to kick off this next chapter of our life. You know, this is our fourth summer owning the land. This is our third summer since I technically started building that. Is it that long? Since I started, I poured the foundation for what we used to call the shop house, and then I waited about 6 months before we started framing. And so I think we're probably in that 2-year window of building. But you got to remember, in the middle of that, I dug a well, I put in a septic system. There was a lot of stuff. Matter of fact, I didn't even hardly work on the house over the last summer, because I was so invested in getting the infrastructure in for the other things. So this year is going to be should be a really fun year as far as just tying up the house. Every time I'm up there, every day, it's just like, even though I hate, the Roxel insulation, that might be the most miserable, any type of fiberglass or Roxel. I'm right now, the sides of my nose, the skin's peeling off the sides of my nose, because even with my respirator on, it just kind of sandblasts even with safety goggles. But I'm almost done with it. And then we start hanging drywall. We're just so flipping close. It's
People, what about, are you going to use drones? Are you going to use different camera?
Yeah, we bought a drone. We've used it. We used it twice and wreck crashed it, and I got new props for it. So yeah, for sure. Again, another thing that I think, once the kids are living up there, Rhett's way better with that drone than I am.
Reed, are you excited about moving up there?
A
little bit. What's going to be your favorite part about living up there? Playing in the mud, finding worms. What part? Riding a dirt bike?
No.
Getting another dog?
No.
No,
How about
nothing.
going up to your
Fishing.
playhouse?
Fishing?
Going fishing. We want
There you
to
go.
fish a lot this summer. I didn't finish what I was saying. So we have that hillside behind the house there, and I have access to a bunch of big rocks. And so initially we were just going to stack rocks against that hill using the excavator and build just a retention wall with the rocks. And the one thing that you can go if you want to.
They want to know if you're going to milk cows. They
Cows
don't
or
know
goats?
cows up there?
Cows or goats?
Yeah.
Both.
Play in the playhouse?
We're leaning towards goats more than cows right now. But I want to build terraces with rocks all the way up that hill and have gardens. I want to have gardens for everything from strawberries to, I want to live right in the middle. I rarely can I put into words the things that are in my head. Cedar's figured this out a long ago, but in my head, I see this thing that we step outside the back door and we're right in the middle of it. And so this year, that's probably the thing I'm most looking forward to. I want to figure out masonry work with stones, whether it's dry stacking or whether it's doing some different things with stones. One of the other things I want to do is I want to dig into the side of that hill and do a pretty good sized root cellar. And I want to do that all out of stone as well. So anyway, I want this to be a place that, regardless of how bad the road is, when we get there, whether it's Cedar, whether it's the kids, that's the place they want to be. That's the place they want to come racing home to. That's the place that it's just like, we have a special connection with that place, and that came through, I think, a lot of hard work. But we want other people to enjoy that as well. So
I don't know what I'm looking forward to. Looking forward to moving in and spending more time with Heath. I'm home here running this house, running the kids around, and he is constantly working. And so we're thankful for him and all he does. But it'll be so good to be up there together, that we can work on things together. And I know everyone thinks he's doing it all by himself, which he is, but I'm here holding down this house and this fort. So But
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. We're a greenhouse, especially.
Yeah,
We do have short summers here, which is the only thing I miss about Arizona is the sun. But I do love and longer growing seasons. But looking forward to a greenhouse and
Liz, people with the super chat.
thank you, Rebecca. I do need a
Is
date
it
night.
The other one. That's crazy.
For a date night fun. Yes,
Um,
thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Um,
What are we gonna use for internet?
You know, satellite's an option, but what's interesting is with the WeBoost, cell phone booster, my 4G, I can load a video faster with just hook it with just what's it called when I hook my phone up to the good night
Hello,
hotspot.
Matthew.
Hotspot.
Yeah.
When I
Matthew
just
would
use
know.
my phone for a hotspot, I can load a video on YouTube in like 4 minutes. When even here in town, it takes 25 minutes to get it up. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge. That's one of the things that we'll have to figure out. But it's not that high on the radar right now for me. We'll figure it out when we get there. If I got to drive into town and load a video, we just want to get living up there, I think, more than anything else.
Somebody asked about Ruger. Yes, Ruger's fine, but we want another dog for Ruger. And I want a dog that's mine. Ruger likes Heath better than me. I try to feed him more food so he likes me better, but he's still Heath's favorite. So I want my own dog. And yes, we're going to have chickens. I miss having our chickens a lot. That's one of my favorite things. And
we raised those Jersey Giants, and we've never spent so much money on
feed
with the least amount of return. So we're about to go buy some chicks and start over. So come, whenever we move in, May or June, hopefully sooner than that. We'll see how it goes.
I love chickens. They're really my favorite pet because they're easy to take care of, and I like to give them all of our scraps. So
the idea, again, I'll tell you, if I could fulfill my dream with this whole place, it would be that everything we consume as far as food, we raise right there on the place. And that's a little bit ambitious to say the least, but that's how I see this going. That's really how I see this going, between raising livestock, between chickens, between we're leaning more towards milk goats right now than cows. I don't know why we've had goats since we were first married.
I love goats. I don't want to milk them. We've already talked about this before. I don't want to drink it. He wants me to drink it. I have a good friend, Trish, that's trying to get me over to get her milk, and I just can't. But I like them because I think they're cute and fun, and I like to watch them play.
Yeah, and they keep the weeds down. So
yeah, they keep the weeds down.
So anyway, more questions?
Matthew, we have somebody that's helping us with a website that we have designed some t-shirts. I'm not really a t-shirt designer, but hopefully they turned out pretty cute. So we should have those up and going pretty quick. I need to get with him, and right, he just has to add them on there.
Yeah, you guys that are still waiting for hats, I had to hand that off to Cedar because it was just too much. It's taking a little bit longer, and we don't have the funds to keep 200 hats on hand at all times. So they're coming. We promise they're coming. If you're still waiting for a hat,
we ordered them a week ago.
Yeah,
so they should be here any day.
It usually takes a few days to get them done, and for some reason it took like 8 days. But this is, by the way, this is the new American flag hat. This is the 13 stripe hat instead of the I don't know, the 15 stripes that we weren't paying attention to on those first hats. So it looks real similar. But anyway.
We'll get those going. It's everybody that has ordered hats, thank you so much. And thank you for being patient. And I will get those out as soon as they get here, hopefully this week. It's our kids' spring break. And so
as soon as we get them, they go out the same day, as fast as we get them. But we're going to try and keep a few dozen on hand, so it's not an issue anymore. And again, it's redpoppyranch.com. The site this is the humble beginnings of the website. We've got somebody helping us with that, but
and don't forget, if you order, to put your address, because we had like 30 people.
Now it forces them to. Before that was part of the hang up, is we were not getting people's addresses. People weren't giving us the colors of the addresses, and that slowed things down. But anyway,
yes, we want pigs. We want horse. Yeah, the girls want horses. Heath doesn't want to feed horses, but the girls want them. So eventually we'll get all these things. We do want a pig though. We would like to raise our own.
Yeah,
Meat.
look, I have this philosophy about being 1 degree away from our food. If I didn't raise it, hunt it, I'm not an avid hunter. I would rather watch a deer in my front yard than shoot it. But at the same time, we live 200 yards away from public land. We can hunt on our own land. One of the things that myself and Rhett want to do is back on the back, there's a spot where the deer like to hang out, and we want to build a little deer camp up there, maybe build little cabins. And sure, I don't have a problem with putting meat in the freezer and knowing exactly where it came from versus going down and assuming that our meat is grown in a styrofoam container. And but we're also, this is a long-term lifestyle. I think we're gonna slowly ease into this. I don't want to have animals up there. I love horses. One of the most rewarding types of work I've ever done in my life was from the back of a horse, whether it was moving cows, roundup. We used to go down and do the roundup with my brother-in-law's family ranch in New Mexico. I love horses. I genuinely love horses, but horses are overgrown dogs when it comes to feeding them. And I would rather feed a cow. They could either give us milk or give us some meat. But Cheyenne, my 17-year-old daughter, has been after me to get a horse for quite a while. We had a horse right before we moved up here in Snowflake. We'll end up getting a couple horses, but most people don't eat horses, and I'm not interested in eating a horse, I guess. But I would like to have one more horse in my life that I could create a bond with, like I've done with my dog. And we've had a bunch of horses in our life, but I've never quite had that horse that's my go-to. But anyway,
they're asking about the jelly. We've done the plum jam. I did it 2 years. One summer, I had just lost my stepmom to a brain tumor, so I kind of bailed on the plums. They kind of got put on the back burner, so that was pretty sad. But will we sell it eventually, jam?
Yeah, maybe not much of it, because that stuff is a rare commodity in our place. I have about 15 more plum trees up there that I'm waiting to transplant as soon as the snow melts, before they start to bud out. All across the front of our place, we will have plum trees, and so maybe someday we can accumulate enough to sell a few bottles here and there. The maple syrup. I've had 8 trees tapped for the last week, and I've got one tree that just spews sap, and we boiled that down, and it was awesome. But to think about how much work that will take to do that, I'm not opposed to it, but it's probably not going to happen for a year or two. And to think about the hundreds of gallons that have to accumulate in order to sell a few. So I don't know. What we'll probably end up doing is giving some of this stuff away. Is finding a select few of you that maybe randomly giving some of this to you guys. We're not as into making money off the people that support us as we are into sharing this experience with people.
Well, last time I made it, it took me all day, and I think I got like 18 half pints. So it was fun though. It was fun because Reed likes to help too.
This should be a good year for fruit. All the moisture that we've got there should be a real good year, assuming all of the blossoms don't get knocked off by a late storm or something. But
how's the maple syrup on her pancakes?
Yeah, I don't eat pancakes. I don't eat pancakes, so I just tasted it.
Reed likes pancakes. We haven't tried it. We drink it. We drank it. But
yeah, we were drinking just the sap. It's really healthy for you. Don't touch the fruit.
I make syrup just from maple leaf
and a lot of sugar,
vanilla, and a lot of sugar. But that's why we want to switch to the tree stuff.
My dad was a beekeeper my whole life growing up. My dad had bees. That's something that's also on the short list. I think probably this summer we'll try and find a few hives to put up in there. I'm really curious how that honey will taste up there. We want to do as much as we can. We want to produce as much as we can with our own hands, and right there. Again, the whole hat thing, selling these hats. We don't make much off these hats with the time that it takes with shipping all that stuff. But it's just the idea that somebody would wear this hat around. We've literally shipped hundreds of these hats all over the world, and that's fascinating to me on some level. So we're the t-shirts, the hoodies. We're going to do some of this stuff, We're not if we're going to offer it, we're going to do it. We're not interested in having somebody. Again, I've said this before. A third-party company do this for us. We're going to do this ourselves. Sometimes the downside is it takes 2 weeks to get a hat after you order it. We apologize, but you have to understand that we touch every one of these things, and it's a bit of a labor of love versus a moneymaker. So one of the other things that we talk about,
we also do it because we're grateful. Like it's not even.
We're very grateful.
We're super grateful, and we wouldn't be here without you guys.
Yep,
None of this
no question. No question. Yeah, my 17-year-old daughter Cheyenne was down in Cache Valley at a restaurant a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, why don't you beat it? You're, either come down here, sit down, and be quiet, or my daughter Cheyenne was down at a restaurant. Come sit down.
Great to come help him.
No, I love it when he's helping me, but he sits still like I sit still.
He's 5.
5.5 actually.
Oh, 5.5.
My daughter Cheyenne was at a restaurant a week and a half or 2 weeks ago and saw somebody wearing one of our hats. And we haven't shipped any this close to home. And so I tried to get her to approach the person that was wearing it. And it was a guy and her husband. Guy, did I say that right? A guy.
Oh, and
his husband.
And his wife.
Yeah, and for Cheyenne was terrified. He had a big beard or something. But like I kept texting her, go say hi to him. Tell him thank you that you're willing to represent, I suppose. And so anyway, it means the world to us, you guys. The positive comments, but at the end,
negative ones too, right?
I don't. By the way,
build us, make us stronger.
If you want to get a reaction from me, it's probably not going to happen on YouTube. Cedar has taken over monitoring the YouTube comments, Instagram, and Facebook, or shoot us an email if you want to get a response from me. I don't deal well with negative anything, and so I try to avoid it like the plague. And it seems like there's more negative on YouTube than any other place. Maybe that's just me.
Everybody keeps asking about the shop. The shop is going to be bigger than my house.
40 by 40.
And yes, he needs it done soon.
Yeah, I'm just the potential projects that'll happen in there. There's just so many things.
Do you remember all my Christmas decorations? I still need a place for those. So he's building a big shop so I can.
I'm building a shop just for her decorations.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
A 1,600 square foot shop just for her decorations. I built a 1,600 square foot shop at our house in Gilbert, and I think Cedar parked in at one time. It was a garage attached to our house, and I had it so full of hot rods and projects and different things. So that I don't want to be a mess like that, but that will facilitate projects happening in the wintertime. One of the things that we're talking about doing is inviting a handful of you guys to come and spend time with us at different times. Over summer, obviously, when it's a lot easier to get up there, and maybe doing some. I have a friend of mine here in the area that's a master blacksmith, and I've had this idea that maybe I'll have him come do a 2 or 3 day a 2 or 3 day course on intermediate blacksmithing, something like that. I've got another friend that's
someone said sign me up.
Yeah, I think that's the next chapter is really just sharing this, whether it's gardening, we've always done the square foot gardening style, but one of the things that we can't wait to have is just another. Cedar said yesterday is we need to have a compost pile. It's just the stuff that she throws away. This leads to so many other things, and so anyway, so I think at some point the shop will end up with probably some rooms in it that people can use.
A big master suite just for us.
In the shop?
Yeah. Great idea. Thank you.
What's wrong with a master suite in our house?
Away from the kids.
That'll be the cabin up on top. I'm not kidding when I say that. It'll be cool to have the cabin up on top, and if we gotta ride snow machines up there to get there, we'll do it. But
someone wants to know how old you are. Do we want to tell them how old we are?
I'm 29 years old. I'm 12 on the inside. That's all my goal with this whole thing is to continue to live life like a 12-year-old. I turned 42 in a couple of months. Sure, go out and play in the woods all day. That's all a 12-year-old wants to do. And make out with his girlfriend. I don't know, 12. I was 15 when I was about 15. Anyway.
I hope no kids are watching that. Somebody wants to know if my real name is Cedar. Yes, my real name is Cedar. My parents, I grew up in Arizona, and my grandparents had a ranch up in northern Arizona that had cedar trees on it. And so that's where I got my name. People ask me that all the time. Like, yeah, that's my real name.
My boss used to call her Wood Shingles when I was first dating her. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. I don't want to take any more of your guys' time. We just, again, we don't do these the live feeds very often because I feel like I'm just rambling, and I feel like again, I'm wasting people's time. But the next couple of weeks up at the ranch are going to be really fun. I may hire somebody to come in and help me with the drywall. I found a guy that I could probably get up there, but there's part of this that I just want to do it myself. And I want to, I don't know why. I'm in as deep as I am now. I want to just kind of finish this thing off, meaning me and the kids.
Imagine.
Yeah.
He really does love working by himself. He puts in his earbuds, he goes to work, he doesn't like to be interrupted. He's a hard worker. He seriously doesn't sleep at night. Why are you ducking your head? His wheels spin all night, every night, thinking about what he can do the next day. And he is, I'd say, a workaholic, which is good.
You know what? But when you're working on your own personal dreams, how are you not a workaholic? How do you not lay in bed awake at night when you're actually doing what you love versus working for somebody else? By the way, I'm not on disability. We have income. People ask all the time. They assume that my wife is a doctor or something, and she works outside the house.
He wishes I was.
Yeah.
Oh, he wishes I made the bank.
We have our our other business that has basically facilitated this whole thing. But my point in this whole journey is, how do you not work your fingers to the bone when you're working on something you love and you're passionate about? There's a Bukowski quote that says, how does it go? Find something you love and let it slowly kill you. Something along those lines. I can't remember how it goes.
Please don't kill yourself.
I shared it on Instagram. Anyway, but look, I would rather wear myself out doing what I love than working for somebody else and not having that passion and that purpose, I suppose, that we have.
But he doesn't feel good 98% of the day. And you know what? The house is what gets him out of bed. And I appreciate that about him. And he never complains. And he just gets up and
I do think finishing the house will relieve some of the stress that probably is contributing to some of my issues. But anyway.
Everybody keeps asking about the excavator.
What about it?
The big one. What are you going to do with it?
The big one is technically sold, which is ironic. But the guy that I sold it to, I made him cash me out because I was afraid this was going to happen. I was afraid that he was going to leave it up there. And I told him if he didn't get it out of there before November, that it was going to sit and stay. But I don't want it there anymore. It's technically not mine, but I haven't heard from the guy in months. And if I don't hear from him, I have his number somewhere. I'm going to have to reach out to him and find something. I don't want that. I was terrified that thing was going to become a piece of yard art up there. It's still a good excavator, and the guy has a recycling company and or something like that. I think that was his plan to use it for. So hopefully once it dries out, that'll go away. But
yeah, sorry, the lighting in this room is terrible. Everybody keeps talking about it.
See.
It's
Anyway,
just those lights at the top. And
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
This is what you get.
We're swinging it.
Thank you guys. More than anything else, the subscriber count is trivial, I suppose. It's what matters to me at the end of the day is who's watching and who's willing to spend their time consuming this thing that we're trying to create, and that means a ton to us. Again, the positive comments that you guys are constantly lobbing our way, we appreciate. But we have
lots of people that have been through with us from the very beginning, like a couple of years now. So you guys are awesome.
And more than anything, my objective throughout this whole thing is we want you to want to see what we're doing. We don't want this to become, there's only a couple of YouTube channels that I watch on a regular basis. And I look forward, I can't wait for something new to pop up. And it doesn't happen as often as I wished it would. And I suppose if this was up to me, I would cut back to one video a week and I would make it better in my mind. So there's an artistic aspect to this where I want to create something that people just can't wait to see. And I feel like right now we're kind of just treading water. I mean, I appreciate you guys watching what we're doing, but I can't wait until we're back outside. I can't wait to see what the grass did that I planted last year. You know, that snow is probably a week or two away from going away. Additional time up there where that place comes alive in a way that few places I've ever seen in my life. It's almost overnight. The leaves bud out. You know, it's a special place. It really is. And when you're trying to find that piece of ground to do something similar, it should speak to you. It should genuinely speak to that, whatever that thing is inside of you that just goes, this is it. And it doesn't mean the hard work aspect of it. Hard work doesn't scare me. Hard work has never scared me. I've said it before. It's one of the few things I'm good at. But the harder I work on that place up there, the more we work to make it our place. That's part of the reason I'm hesitant to have people come and help me, at least with the house. I think with outside stuff, it'll be easier. But it's hard to paint the picture that I have in my head for others to see. So when we're doing fencing, when we're putting fencing up, when we're doing other things, it's fairly straightforward. But I don't know. It's a labor of love, to say the least. And if it shortens my life, who cares? I mean, I
do.
I mean, I'm not talking that short, but look, if I'd have lived longer by living in town, which I don't believe I would have anyway, and not working as hard, look, to me, it's memories, it's the legacy, I suppose. It's what my kids remember. And
so now that the grass is done, are we going to have to fertilize it? Not when it comes up.
I don't want to put my hands on that
fertilized
stuff. I think as far as doing chemical fertilizers, we may do, you know, use chicken manure and
how do you see yourself on the YouTube channel in 3 to 5 years?
Who knows?
That's a long time.
I don't.
Hopefully
That's
we're
a good
living in
question.
our house.
Oh, are you kidding me? If we're not living up there by my birthday, if we're not living up there by my birthday, something went wrong.
His birthday's June 7th.
Something went wrong. I can't imagine it's going to take that long, but anyway, 3 to 5 years down the road, I don't know. I don't look at any of the YouTube analytics. I don't look at any of that stuff. I don't want this to become not fun for me. I don't want this to, you know, it's shocking. Again, it's shocking to me that the number of people watch our content, and all I want to do is continue to try and create something that people want to see, I suppose. It isn't about money. It isn't about, sure there's freedom that comes from creating a successful product. You know, sure that stuff is part of it. And don't get me wrong, having enough money in my bank, our next big goal this year for the ranch is to pay it off. Pay it off. That's it. Pay the place off. We don't owe that much on it. Once the house is finished, to pay the place off, and by eliminating all the debts from that point on, naturally we'll be able to accumulate more money again. You know, we use most of our savings to get to this point, and sure. So, do I hope our channel is 3 or 4 or 500,000 subscribers? I don't know. More than anything, I hope that there's hundreds of thousands of people that find some little piece of joy, I suppose, that's uplifting, that somehow makes their day a little bit better.
On a scale of 1 to 20, how excited are you to move into the house? 100. That is where I am. We've moved 17 times. There's some people that know all this if you followed us from the very beginning, but literally 17 times in 20 years. You have no idea how excited I am to have my own house. So once it's done and we're moved in, I'm never moving ever again. So that's it. I mean, that's where we plan to die, and that's where we want to build that. But so I can't wait to finally decorate. We've rented houses, we've owned a few houses, we've remodeled a few houses, we've done it all, but I cannot wait to finally have something that's mine that we never ever have to leave ever again. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, no question. To create something from scratch that somebody else didn't design, and to put our flavor, whatever that is, the mix of both myself and Cedar. If it was up to me, there'd be old saddles and old boots and old antiques that I've been lugging around for 20 years everywhere. But my beautiful wife is smart enough to say, hey, let's slow roll the antiques, save those for the shop. You know, she wants to have.
No, I like antiques. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's a very functional, basic house.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to have lots of plant shelves or stuff. Or plus, when you have a bunch of stuff out, then I have to dust it. So I like more simple, more. I don't know.
Yeah, functional is probably the word. But
and we have 5 kids, so we got to cram 7 people's stuff in these small closets, and we're definitely downsizing our stuff right now. My kids have toys that are ridiculous that need to be donated, and we've got clothes that we don't wear, and we've got.
Yeah, we're trying to cut back, and that front porch that literally I don't know if I'll build the front porch until we're living up there, just because we want to get living up there so bad. But that front porch will be 12 foot by 40 feet long, and one of the things that that I'm going to build, and this is I anticipate having a little wood shop there inside the shop, but I want to build a table, and it'll be out of wood that either I go and harvest from off of public land, may even be from maple. I want to try and build stuff out of that maple that we have there, but I want to build a table that's big enough to seat 25 people at, and it'll sit right there on our front porch. During the summers, we'll eat outside. I want to build a bread oven right there. I guess I foresee a lot of cooking happening outside when it's warm. There are a few weeks out of the summer when it gets in the 90s.
But because of his health, I'm gonna have to figure out something. I've heard about, what's it called? Live yeast.
Yeah. We have
figure out stuff like that.
We have a real big interest in working with breads that are not only an heirloom wheat, but using a live yeast, and just all of this stuff that, I don't know, all of this stuff. Part of the reason I have an interest in goats and goat milk is because it's a lot easier to manage a goat than it is a milk cow. But we're not opposed to having a milk cow. We've got a neighbor that we may share a milk cow with, but I don't know. All I know is we're just getting into this thing. If you could see the pictures in my brain, you would say, I get it. You would say, I understand. And so, again, we genuinely love and appreciate all of you guys that support us. We can't wait to continue to show you how this unfolds. And a 3 to 5 year prediction is very, very difficult for me, because the deeper I get into it, my ideas change. As you can see with the house, things change. If it's not practical, if things need to be done different, we're not opposed to changing things. We're not opposed to doing whatever, but we're approaching that point where now it's time to start making major decisions about where's the garden going to be? Where's the long-term garden going to be? Where are we going to have, are we going to raise raise a cow every year, or am I going to count on trying to shoot an elk every year?
Or 2 or 3.
Yeah, like I said, I really have zero interest in hanging something on my wall, but I can pay like $30.
I wanted to.
Oh, yeah, I just want to source meat that is going to be the healthiest way to get it. So again, if I'm going to eat meat, I'd like to know where it came from, and that's part of the reason we are on this journey together. So,
few people have asked about homeschooling. No, we're not going to homeschool. my kids are we're involved with a lot of church activities. We're involved with sports, and my kids, have a lot of friends, and they're older, especially the older. Cheyenne will be a senior this year. Well, she's a junior right now. She'll be a senior next year, so she's graduating. But my kids like the social part of homeschooling, and I honestly don't know if I could do it or handle it.
I don't
I can
think,
get them to work when they get home from school. We're going to have lots of chores and stuff for them to do. But as far as teaching them school, I'm going to leave that to the experts and let them do that.
yeah, we've talked about our younger two kids, the possibility of doing that with our younger two kids. But to me, homeschooling is effective when the person that's doing the homeschooling is a natural teacher. And I don't know, our kids are going to learn a lot just by living up there. But
we're not far from town at all. It's
well, yeah, on a good day, we're 20 minutes from town, but there's been days when it's taken me
most
4 hours
people
to get up there.
that live around here, we're in a pretty spread out community. So a lot of people drive 20 minutes, no big deal, all the time. But I would drive the 20 minutes, live out of town and drive the 20 minutes versus live in town and only drive 5 minutes because it's worth it to me.
Anyway, I feel like we're rambling. We love and appreciate you guys that continue to watch whatever we happen to put up there, and we appreciate that you're invested in the story, and we hope that as the story unfolds and as we really begin to develop the property up there, that so passionate about what we do.
Somebody wants to know if you're going to write a book.
I can barely write my name. I don't know if no, I don't have an interest in. I would rather live a book, I suppose. I would rather live. I don't know.
If he can sit still long enough to sit down and type something, then
no, that's not. I'm not that brilliant. That's for sure.
So several people have asked for our email.
redpoppyranch98@gmail.com is the easiest way to get a hold of us.
And what about hats? Where do you tell them to go find a hat?
redpoppyranch.com. 4 different hats available right now.
And shirts and stuff. Hopefully,
this next week,
Matthew, I will get with you and we'll get those pictures. I just have to send them pictures.
Yeah, we'll handle it. We'll take care of it. So we're in the grind. We're figuring it out. And if you guys, by the way, if you guys want a little bit more day-to-day of what we're doing, follow us on Instagram. I'm probably a little bit more active on Instagram than I am with YouTube because it's easy to throw a picture up here and there just to kind of see what's happening and follow us on Instagram. But again,
so other people keep asking what other channels we watch. And unfortunately, I don't have time to watch much stuff, but
my 2 channels that I go to consistently, one of them is Northman. That's probably my favorite channel. I don't spend a whole lot of time. I'll watch, and by the way, they don't put up new videos very often, but I've been watching that channel for years. And frankly, the inspiration to kind of build a house by home, I probably got from those guys. The other one, I've been watching, what's his name? Primitive Technologies. I love that stuff. I guess just the basic. I like to see people do stuff more than I like to hear people talk. I'm not crazy about. I don't know. I guess I'm not probably the go-to for. There are some other homestead channels I go to. There are some. Yeah, there's definitely some of these people that are maybe more experienced with goats. I will spend when I get really passionate about one particular issue. I will try to find it. But part of the reason that we started our YouTube channel was I couldn't find a good reference point on YouTube of somebody that took a piece of land from scratch and did what we're doing. And so there's lots of other great channels out there.
I don't necessarily watch them, but we've become great friends.
Yeah, we got lots of friends. We got lots of friends that have other channels, and I will. I guess I barely have enough time to edit videos and to, you know, I go to YouTube probably before I go anywhere else. It still bothers me that, you know, outlets like Netflix haven't recognized how much of a niche there is in the homesteading, you know, whatever this thing is. But I love watching people work with their hands. I love the craftsman aspect of creating something with their hands. I think that's why I like that Northman channel. Those guys are, yeah, they look at the work that I do. And I would venture to say they probably laugh because I mean, those guys timber frame everything, and there's, you know, anyway, there's some good stuff.
Okay, so if money was no worry, what would be the first installment to the ranch when the house is done?
If money was no worry,
Yes.
about 1,000 loads of gravel on the road.
Yes, I agree with that one.
That's about it. There's not really a
And the
whole lot
shop.
more. It paid the land off, maybe buy the lot next to us. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think about that stuff once in a while, but no, we've been tremendously blessed to have what we have, and we don't have a whole lot more needs as far as that stuff's concerned. But we will, I suppose the day that I walk down to the bank and give them the last little bit of cash to clear our land will be a special day.
Yeah.
So anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We're going to wrap it up. It's been an hour. Again, we thank you for taking time to be on the live feed tonight, and we'll see you in 50,000 subscribers. It seems to be about how often we do this. So thanks.
Bye. Thank you.